Hello guys, I hope you are enjoying October. I decided to get a little bit spooky, so I'm filming 2 tags today. Today I'm doing the rework of a tag that I did about 4 years ago, so when my channel was still pretty new, and obviously a few things have changed since then. I will link the original video here. But yeah, I thought I would revisit that tag, and some stories are going to be the same, some things might have changed, but yeah. Okay, cracking on with the first question. How old were you when you had your first paranormal experience? Now, I don't think this answer has changed because it was the first one. So I was about 3. and I was living in my parents' house. Obviously it's their first house, the house that I was in until I was 8, and I was lying in bed, and I always used to have to sleep with the door open and the landing light on because I was scared of the dark, like most kids. And I remember hearing someone come out of the bathroom, which was next to my living room, next to my bedroom, sorry. And my parents' bedroom was like the other side of the staircase, if that makes sense. So the staircase went along the middle, and so I was quite far from my parents' bedroom, so I knew it wasn't one of them because you can sort of like work out who is in your house, can't you? You know, that's just how you live and hear and things like that. So I knew it wasn't one of those two, and no one came out of the bathroom through the door. But I saw this silhouette of an old woman. I say old woman because I just think that, you know, that's what it looked like. And she was all hunched over, and it was just like a big black hunched over figure went onto my wall, like being projected as a shadow from the little crack of light coming through the door. And so yeah, I was terrified. And that house, like everyone was, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. That house always had a really weird feeling, and no one really liked going downstairs after dark. Like once you were up there, you were up there. No one went and got a glass of water or anything like that. So that was my first paranormal experience. So moving on to the question number 2, have you always believed in ghosts? So because I had that experience so young, and like that's when your memories are first forming, I have. And I also sort of like was horror obsessed as a child as well. Like I've always been like a goth kid, and I remember being in that house as well and being about 5 or 6 and asking my mum about vampires and why couldn't I be a vampire, and did they kill people when they drank their blood, or did they just drink their blood? So yeah, I've always had an interest in paranormal and spooky stuff. So I skipped a few questions on the original tag, and I'm skipping this part as well because it's about investigating, and I've never done a ghost investigation. But what is my favourite paranormal experience? Has to be probably, and I don't know if I mentioned this one in that tag because I can't remember if it would have happened by this point, but it's when I smelt my granddad. And that sounds really weird, but my granddad died in 2012, so 4.5 years ago, nearly 5 years ago. And he always smoked a really specific brand of cigarettes, and he always just smelt of that cigarette. And I remember being sat in my exam, and it was an exam I really didn't want to do, and I was really nervous about it. And because you're in an exam, you're quite separate from everyone else, so you can't really get any wafts of smell. And anyway, I didn't know anyone else that smoked this brand of cigarette. And I was sat in my exam and I was trying my best, as you do. And just suddenly I just got this massive waft of my granddad's cigarettes, and it kind of calmed me down, and yeah, it just made me feel nice. So that's probably my favourite paranormal experience. What is your scariest paranormal experience? Okay, so my scariest one, and I think I definitely spoke about this one because, oh my god, I was crying with fear, and I don't usually get like that, but I had this dream that I was in a stately home, and I say stately home, it wasn't like a huge one like you see on, what's that show, Downton Abbey or anything like that. It was like a big country house, like a big country house. And I had a dream that I went into this country house and there was like a staircase to the left of me, and then in front of me there was a room full of portraits. Not a portrait gallery, but like, I suppose it was a portrait gallery. I don't know, but yes. And I was looking around and I was looking at all these portraits, and like they were all men from like the 17th century with the big ruffs, and then there was like later ones with big wigs and stuff like that. So yeah, and then I heard my name being called from upstairs. So I walked upstairs past weirdly flying cushions and then there was a woman stood there, and she had brown hair and she was wearing a very tightly corseted but big hooped skirt, Victorian dress, and it was like blue, like not navy blue but a dark royal blue, and I remember that so vividly. And I woke up and I didn't think anything of this dream, and then I went to a car show with my parents at a place called Beaulieu Abbey in the New Forest, and although I'd been to the car show at a museum before, I'd never looked around the other places, so we went to the big house. I walked in and I went absolutely white as a sheet because it was the house from my dream. And so I was freaking out at this point, like I don't really like understand how my brain could have made that place up because I'd never been there before in my life. So I was freaked out at this point, like that would freak anyone out. But then to add even more freakiness to this ordeal, I then was watching Most Haunted live about, I don't know, it was quite a while later and I sort of like gotten over it, but then they were doing a live show from Beaulieu, right? So they went into the house and they were like, oh, so this is that ghost story and this is that, and there's like, you know, a lady maid and she's wailing and whatever. But then they said, then there is another female ghost that has been seen here, and she stands at the top of the stairs and she calls young ladies' names, and she is wearing a blue hooped Victorian dress. And by this point I was like home alone and I was just freaking out so much. Like, so I dreamt about a house I'd never been to, and I dreamt about a ghost on that house that I had never been to. Like, what? Brain? What? Like, I cannot to this day explain that. And that happened probably 6, 7, 8 years ago. Probably like 8 years ago, yeah. So, terrifying. Whatever. Do you know anyone else who has had a paranormal experience? Yes, like I remember my nan telling me so many ghost stories when I was little about her experiences and about her mum's experiences. So I don't know if like there's a sensitivity thing that's being passed down throughout my family, I don't know, but yeah, my nan has had quite a few where we live. Again, like we live near the New Forest, well, that's where we're from, in Hampshire, and yeah, there's some really spooky stuff that goes on there. And then my great nan, so my nan's mum, had some experiences during the war. Like, this isn't to do with ghosts, but it's still kind of paranormal because she just kind of got these bad vibes in the house that she lived in, and so she moved around a lot in the war, and basically every single house after she had moved out of them got bombed. So like, I don't know, yeah, we have some weird paranormal stuff happening. Do you have trouble convincing friends and family about your paranormal experiences? Like, we don't, I make it sound like we talk about ghosts all the time, but we don't really. My dad is kind of skeptical, but still has had some weird stuff happen to him. My mum doesn't really, I don't really remember talking to my mum about any ghost stuff. My sister, not really, but yeah, we definitely have conversations about it, so not really. I don't really say much to them, mainly because I don't live with them anymore, but you know, I don't really talk about them that much, except from like the Bewley one, the Haunted Dome Lady Ghost, obviously because I was little and I just ran into my mum and dad's house room screaming, so yeah. Favourite paranormal TV show or movie? It used to be Ghost Adventures, and I still like really look forward to watching Ghost Adventures because I just find them really interesting and I like learning about the history of the house and to see if they do find anything paranormal. But I have to say there's another one and I actually can't think what it's called, so bear with me. I'm just gonna Google this. Right, so the programme is The Haunting of, and then they insert a celebrity's name, and it's with the psychic medium Kim Russo. And I freaking love that programme because although I'm not a massive fan of psychics themselves, like this woman, it might be staged, they might all just tell her everything anyway, but like I think it's so good, and it really, I don't know, it touches the heart because it's usually ghosts to do with the people, not ghosts to do with the place, and I just think that's so lovely because like most of my experiences are like that, so that's probably why. And why I don't really like Ghost Adventures anymore, because it's all about freaking demons, okay? It's never a child, it's a demon. It's never anything good, it's always bad, you know? Oh, is my home haunted? My house now is different to the house I filmed it in before, as you can tell. I was in Liverpool then and I am now in Ipswich. So I think, I don't know if this house is haunted. There's been a couple of weird things that have happened, but I don't feel anything like I did before. The only weird thing that has happened to me, and it's happened to me twice, is I've been in the shower, get that image out your head, and the power cord to turn the shower on has been pulled so hard whilst I've been in the shower that it's turned the shower off. So that's the only weird thing that has happened in this house. I've never had any like weird sounds, nothing's ever fallen off or gone missing or anything like that. So I don't think, even though this house is 120 years old, I don't think this house is haunted. So, have I had any paranormal experiences with animals? Now, I really had to rack my brains about this because I don't actually think I have. Don't have a lot of animals in my life. My friends have got some pets and that's about it. We're not really a pet family. The only thing I could think of was to do with our first house again, is we used to have a cat called Chevy, and he also didn't really like the house. I don't know, like that's the only thing I can think of, but that was it. So that is it with the questions because I crossed them off, and I thought I would tell you another ghost story, but I couldn't really think of a good one that I could shorten. So I might do another video on it. I don't know how I'm gonna do that, but I've finished this paranormal tag, so I'm probably going to film another one later, and that will be a Halloween tag because I love Halloween, and I will link that when that one is up, hopefully next week, here and probably here, I don't know. So that's that. If you have enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up. I would love to hear some of your paranormal activity experiences, either in a comment below or tag me in a video. That would be amazing. I'd love to see what has spooked you. If you really like this video and you want to see more stuff like this, then hit the subscribe button and I will see you very soon with another video. Bye!